have the proud privilege of having our Honorable Director General Health Services, who heads the health services of the entire country, to talk to us on eye donations, as we would be celebrating the eye donation fortnight in the last week of the month of August and the first week of September. Sir, you are one of the leading ophthalmologists of the country, in addition to being the DGHS. So we would be really happy to hear from you about the status of eye donation in the country.
Thank you. As far as the status of eye donation is concerned, I think right from the early 70s, there has been a program on the National Control of Prevention and Control of Blindness, in which eye donation and eye transplantation has been a very important part of that. And in spite of the efforts of the various stakeholders, there has not been a major increase in the number of transplants. Our country, I think we are doing approximately 25 to 30,000 corneal transplants per year, whereas the backlog is increasing by an equal amount every year. So there is a kind of slowness in the increase of corneal transplants, and the major difficulties, I think, are in the area of eye donation. So I would ask all the stakeholders to make the maximum efforts to increase the eye donation from the voluntary donors. And in fact, if you come to think, this is one of the easiest tissues to be collected, because there is no need of any brain death certification or any committees to certify all that, and it is only from the cadaver eyes, and the networks already exist, and in the THOA now the cornea is included as a tissue, and all the the rules for the other organs also apply to the cornea. So we should encourage in the form of awareness workshops, other IEC activities, to increase the outreach to the public, so that they come forward whenever a near and dear one passes away. They should inform the nearest eye bank, and the corneas should be collected at a proper timeline.
Can you kindly let us know the common causes of blindness, and particularly the preventable causes of blindness in our country, so that we would have less number of blind people in India, and also enlighten us about the treatment of those causes that are eminently treatable in the present day?
Okay. You see, the maximum number of blinds in India are the ones due to cataract. But apart from this, glaucoma, corneal opacities, other retinopathies and refractive errors can also lead to a major defect in vision, and many of these are not incurable. They are treatable if they are given the due attention at the right time. But as far as eye donation and corneal transplantation is concerned, the major causes are the bacterial, fungal and viral infections leading to a cloudiness of the cornea in their healing stages, and trauma, whether it's penetrating injury due to crackers or sports or some kind of other injuries, vehicular injuries leading to a corneal opacity, and of course some of the congenital cloudiness of the corneas which are there right from birth.
We would like to inform you, sir, that since the passage of the 2011 amendment of the Transplantation of Human Organs Act, which, as you rightly said, has come to include tissues as well. So the present act is known as the Transplantation of Human Organs and Tissues Act, in which cornea, bone, heart valve, skin and many other tissues are included. So therefore, what do you think is the difference, and how should we go about ensuring compliance of this act?
You see, as far as the networking of the eye banks and the eye surgeons and the corneal transplant surgeons, this should be ensured so that no tissue is wasted. And once the proper screening of the donor is done, and it's a very simple screening in terms of a medical history and so that you can rule out any major infections like HIV or hepatitis C, and a simple look at the eye, which if it is worth collecting and processing, and then you can, of course, we have to improve the facilities for processing and the storage of these tissues, so that the eye banks should be increased, number of eye banks, and they should be there in every medical college ideally. And of course the eye transplantation and the corneal transplantation should be encouraged to be established in many of these hospitals.
With the establishment of the National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization, based on the mandate of the 2011 amendment of the Act, tissues come under the realm of the Act, and therefore they have to be a part of the National Registry of Organs and Tissues. What is your message to all the centers that retrieve corneas and the eye, and also the who perform transplants? Since the NPCB is also there, people feel that if they report to the NPCB, it is sufficient. With our health minister currently being the executive director of the WHO, it is also one of the mandates of the guidelines of the WHO on cells, tissues and organ transplants and donations and transplants, based on the World Health Assembly 6322, that there should be a central registry and a national level organization for oversight of donation and transplantation of organs and tissues. And therefore, how would you consider it as extremely important that all the eye banks should register themselves with NOTO? At present, about 137 corneal transplant centers are registered with our organization. And your message to all the eye surgeons and the eye banks and the eye transplant centers to ensure compliance, so that our Honorable Health Minister, as the WHO Executive Chairperson, would be able to hold his head high and show that we lead the way.
I think India is a vast country, and if the data is given to the national organization like the NOTO, it will be a very fruitful way of projecting India at the international level. Even if it is given to the ophthalmic organizations, it can always be shared with the NOTO, so that we have a central data bank of the number of transplantations of the cornea being done, and the number of professionals and other facilities available. So India can proudly project at any international forum that the numbers are increasing, and if there are any innovations in this field, they can be projected in a solid manner at the international forum. So I agree that the data should be centralized, and of course the ophthalmic organizations do need the data also, the NPCB also needs the data. So if in these days of digitalization, if the data is shared with 2 or 3 organizations, all the better.
We would like to have your message to the public for the occasion of the eye donation fortnight.
So my message is that one, near and dear ones, if they can, you can share the corneas for the benefit of the humanity. It is not only a gift of sight, but if you donate a cornea and a blind person can see, it's really a gift of life. And for you know that you, as the public knows that one person can bring sight to 4 people. From one body, 4 people can be transplanted with particular part of the cornea and they can regain their vision. So it is high time that we all pledge our eyes for the benefit of the human kind.
It is seen in literature that 50% of the eyes collected are utilized for corneal transplantation. Is there any way that this could be hiked? Is there ways and means of collection, storage, preservation and transplantation that can make better utilization?
So as far as the collection of eyes and retrieval of corneas are concerned, it is a timeline which is important. So if depending on the weather, the corneas will last from 6 hours only. They cannot be collected later than that. And of course, the evaluation of the donor eye and the cornea ultimately tells the ophthalmologist whether the cornea will be useful for transplanting. And otherwise, even the sclera can be used, it can be preserved, and the cornea can be used for research purpose if it is not used for the human transplantation. And the way you can improve is to increase the facilities for refrigeration and other infrastructure required for the eye banks. So that is the right way to go about it.
Thank you very much, sir. Noto has been blessed to have you guiding us all through, and it has been a real pleasure working under you and receiving a lot of motivation and guidance and help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Vasan.